Hello, I'm Dr. Todd Lee, creator of the Valhalla Labs supplement line. Today I'm going to discuss with you some biochemistry theory. Because the products are dietary supplements and nutraceuticals, not pharmaceuticals, I cannot make claims. I hope you enjoy my conclusions. What a lot of people don't realize is that the Steve Jobs approach makes sense. A lot of people hated when Steve Jobs wanted to make one integrated system that was not designed to be integratable with other systems. That IBM was outselling Apple computers because IBMs were modular. You could have third parties that make components for IBMs. They have ports all over the place. Where what Steve's goal was is, once you go Apple, you don't need to look anywhere else. Apple's going to provide you everything you need. So like a narcissistic megalomaniac, here I am, I made the Valhalla Labs line to be a one-stop shop for your anabolic and fat loss goals. Let me explain. When, let's say, company X has products A, B, and C, then they have a fight with their chemist, they fire him, so they get a new chemist who comes up with products D, E, and F. He may not know what chemist 1 was trying to do when he made A, B, and C, and there may be little cooperation between products A, B, C, D, E, and F. Once I was looking at the leading brand, and I noticed that the amount of caffeine that they had in like 6 products totaled to like 1,200 milligrams a day. So you can't trust that brand. You can't buy that brand and know you're not going to fucking overdose. That you can't trust the brand to provide you any type of consistency. They don't even indicate which products are used in what particular order, what combination, or how. What everyone's trying to do is they're trying to sell you a gimmick product. Like, this is a hot topic on Google Ads, so we're gonna make a product out of this Google Ads topic and sell it to you. So like, oh, glutamine's so cool. Glutamine protects my muscles. Glutamine does this, glutamine does that. Let's sell glutamine. But let's not call it glutamine because you could just order freeform glutamine. Let's call it Glutamax and then put glutamine with some caffeine and some branching amino acids. And then the other products are like, oh, nitric oxide's so cool, it makes your muscles so big. I need some nitric oxide. I love nitric oxide. So let's call it nitrikes. And it's gonna be nitric X, and it's gonna be nitric oxide with some glutamine and with some caffeine. And so before you know it, you're high as a fucking kite on caffeine, and you've got tachycardia, you're in the ER, you might have been that one legendary kid that drank 6 monsters and died. So the point is, I decided, when do you take supplements? Because that's what really matters. You only take supplements a couple times a day because you only have an empty stomach a couple times a day. You take supplements in the first thing in the morning, before you lift, while you're lifting, immediately after you lift, and before you go to bed. It's pretty much the only times you take supplements. So I made supplements to be taken at those times. So our chief primary primo product is Thor's Hammer. This is for men. And it's to optimize male hormones. In it, I've got agmatine sulfate, which helps direct blood flow because it's an enzyme on the surface of a capillary. So, you got a capillary bed, right? Now, for those of you who don't know, a capillary is a very small vein. All right, so we got the intima, and you've got the endothelium. The intima is fancy doctor talk for the outside of the vein, and the endothelia is fancy doctor talk for the inside of the vein. So it kind of goes like loop, 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 loop. Do you see how that's like a cutaway of a vein? Like, all right, so in this endothelia, we've got dangling down an enzyme. We're gonna just draw it like that, and we're gonna call this NO-synth, called nitric oxide synthase, right? Nitric oxide synthase is cool as fuck because it converts arginine into nitric oxide. So everyone knows, oh, arginine's so cool because it increases growth hormone. It increases growth hormone because it increases blood flow to the brain, which allows things to get to the brain when you're sleeping to release more growth hormone. Nitric oxide's cool because it stops heart attacks because it increases blood flow to the heart when someone has clogged arteries. from having bad calcium if you watch the Thor's hammer video. When nitric oxide synthase is so cool because it increases blood flow to the muscle that you're trying to train to give you a sweet as fuck pump, and helps drive nutrients to the muscle because you need those nutrients to help the muscle function, fire, recover, and grow. So nitric oxide synthase is enhanced by agmatine sulfate. So I put agmatine sulfate in the morning product so that when you take the pre-workout, it's already in your bloodstream. Everyone else, what they're doing is they're putting agmatine sulfate in the pre-workout, and it doesn't kick in until tomorrow. So you're never really getting the full effects. By taking the agmatine sulfate in the morning, when you do hit the gym in the afternoon, now the arginine in the pre-workout is ready to be broken down by the nitric oxide synthase much more efficiently. So it's one product. The morning product, Thor's hammer, helps activate the afternoon product, the pre-workout, Fenris Fury. Now that's not all. In Fenris Fury, I put betaine. What does betaine do? Betaine upregulates the synthesis and receptor density of IGF-1. What the hell does that mean? All right, what it means is that post-workout, when your liver is getting hit with glucose or fructose, and there's already growth hormone present, it makes IGF-1. IGF-1 is what actually grows muscle. When people talk about growth hormone doesn't grow muscle. IGF-1 grows muscle, but you make IGF-1 from growth hormone release or injection, or something that stimulates release. So the betaine in the pre-workout increases the receptors on the muscle cells for the IGF-1 that hasn't been produced yet. Then post-workout, when you have your post-workout carbohydrates, now your body makes the IGF-1, which binds to the muscle and grows muscle, thus making the workout effective. Now, I'm not going to talk about all the great ingredients that are in Fenris Fury, but they do have the nitric oxide precursors for this agmatine sulfate. Now, the mid-workout, the battle meet intra, and the post-workout, battle meet post, facilitate all the blood going through these now widened vessels, carrying more glucose and amino acids that the muscles need in order to grow, like creatine, taurine, all the glucose, sea salt to help dilate the vessels. So the whole point of this system is to dilate the vessels, drive nutrients to the muscles so when they're training. But the cool thing about the battle meat is, like I said about the Fenris Fury has the betaine, which activates the IGF-1 receptors and stimulates the liver to be ready to release IGF-1. The battle meat post has Vandel sulfate to upregulate the receptivity of the liver to receive fructose, and that fructose and that insulin from the glucose in the post, along with the Vandel sulfate and the betaine you already took when you took the pre-workout, stimulates the greatest possible release of IGF-1 to stimulate the muscles to grow. So we set the stage for this event, for the IGF-1 production and binding to the muscle tissue, all the way back 3 products before. So with the morning product, the agmatine sulfate is used, and then it activates when you take the pre-workout. The pre-workout has the betaine, which gets activated by the post-workout, and that then allows for the greatest possible muscle growth. So it's really one product. The whole Valhalla Labs system is one product to generate the most amount of muscle tissue growth. Now, Dragon Dreams is kind of an addendum. Not everyone has a problem sleeping, but chances are you do. I think it's more than 50% of people. So whoever's listening to this, chances are it's you, and if it's not you, it's the person next to you. In Dragon Dreams, I put stinging nettle. What does stinging nettle do? Stinging nettle will help activate the Thor's hammer better. That earlier, if you watch the Thor's hammer video, I talked about how estrogen's bad, and one of the points of the Thor's hammer is the 7-amine-benzo stops the aromatase from converting into stops the aromatase from converting the testosterone into estrogen. One of the bad things about estrogen is it upregulates SHBG, sex hormone binding globulin. SHBG then mops up a bunch of free estrogen and it acts as a reservoir. So if your body ever gets low on estrogen, it just pumps out more. So that it's really hard for you to ever clear your body out of the garbage estrogen. So what stinging nettle does is that it helps bind to and absorb that SHBG so it does not act as estrogen safe house. If it doesn't act as an estrogen reservoir, it allows your body to clear out all the estrogen so that and if you stop making more, you'll slowly have no estrogen in your body, which is better for having the results you want, which is lower body fat, higher muscle mass, better mood. That estrogen's great for making you anxious, overthinking, second guessing, moody, fat, water loaded, and weak. So if those are things you're looking for, estrogen's for you. If those are things you don't want, you want Thor's hammer, and Dragon Dreams helps with that because I don't know about you, but if I'm getting sleep, I'm moody as fuck. So getting a lot of good sleep and cleaning up my estrogen makes me a happy camper, makes people around me happy campers. Now, the last thing I want to mention, not everyone is focused on building muscle. Some people want to lose fat. Wrath of the Valkyrie is not just for women. Men can benefit from this too. This is going to be great if you're in a calorie deficit. I put something in here to protect your muscles called HMB. It's like a leucine molecule, but instead of stimulating muscle synthesis, like the leucine that I have in the post-workout, it doesn't activate the mTOR pathway, it preserves muscles really well. It has a bunch of other stuff in here, which we'll get to in its own video, that helps liberate fat. So for people who can't take Thor's hammer in the morning, that like women for instance, Wrath of the Valkyrie is the female equivalent to the Thor's hammer because the vast majority of women would rather burn fat. That's the main purpose of them working out. Very rarely do you meet a woman who says, you know what, I love all the fat on my body, I don't want to get rid of any of it. That generally when they're working out, they want to lose some fat. So the morning product for women is Wrath, but if a guy's trying to lose fat, you're still better off adding Wrath of the Valkyrie to the Thor's hammer to get the best possible. Even if you're trying to build muscle and you just want to build solid muscle, you don't want to risk gaining any fat at all, Wrath in the morning with your Thor's hammer before you do fasted cardio is the best way to go. So that's why the total product line of Valhalla Labs is one real product, not a bunch of separate independent products. And you will not find another company that has so much integration of the products. Sometimes you might be like, I hate that these two products are sold together. I want them sold separate. They don't really work sold separately. That's why I kind of made it easy for you and I clumped the stuff that has to be used together. But in the perfect universe, you use all the products because all the products make all the other products work stronger. All right, enjoy.